the Oakland A's, and a brand new face for the Houston Astros will be on the mound in just minutes. Lance McCullers, one of their top prospects, making his major league debut in the Astros, trying to back him up with some offense as they go for their 6th consecutive win. Stay right there. Astros baseball on Root Sports starts now.
From Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game series against the Oakland A's. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. Julia Morales joins us in a while to see if the Astros can stretch out this winning streak. They've won 5 in a row, and they've taken 22 of their last 30, Ash.
And now they're going to let the youth lead them a little bit, and not a bad thing because they've got some really talented young people coming up from the minor leagues.
21-year-old Lance McCullers Jr. is about to make his major league debut, so the excitement will be there for him tonight.
I think a lot of us are feeling it, too. That joy of being able to see good, talented young players come along. Look at the curveball McCullers brings, and he's reported to have a fastball in the mid-90s, so you compare, or combine, rather, those two along with a changeup that he has with the assortment. This guy could be really dynamite with that type of stuff. We'll see how far he can go tonight and how successfully.
Last year, the numbers were from Lancaster, Class A in 2014, and of course the land of high ERAs affecting him some, but look at the tremendous improvement to this year.
Well, he certainly made a lot of strides. The ERA way down from last year, but you also look at that whip down to that .90 area. He walks few, but he also gives up very few hits. He'll strike out a bunch, so the ratio, the strikeout to walk ratio has drastically improved this year. This young man has some extremely good stuff.
So he comes out for his first major league appearance, and coming up, trading places. The standings look quite a bit different than they did just 1 year ago. How have the Astros been able to turn things around so drastically? And what's happening to the A's? Ash and I will break it down when we return. come into Houston with a 13-26 record, while the Astros are 25-13, equaling their best start for 38 games. 1 year ago today, let's check it out, Ash.
Wow, that's really stark. The Astros in last place, 16-28, 12 games back, and now the Oakland A's are getting a taste of that. Of course, the Oakland A's got a big dose of it late last year as they crumbled, but right now this is what it looks like as the Astros lead the division. The Angels losing today, now 6 games back, the Oakland A's in the cellar, and you can see everything else that goes along with it. The Astros are in a great position.
And also in head-to-head play against Oakland, they are 4-2. That's a complete reversal of what has happened since they joined the American League.
The 3-game sweep in Oakland didn't hurt that one little bit. The Oakland A's actually came in and took 2 of the first 3 against Houston early on in the season here in Houston.
So the Astros statistically really stacking up very well against this Oakland club, which is second in relief wins, and the Astros are first with 11.
And then you go from there, 1-run games. This is really remarkable. The A's 1-13, 10-2 for the Astros. Comeback wins well on the side of Houston, 12 of them, and last at bat wins. The Astros have a 7-0 edge right there. So the Oakland A's have not seen things go well in their direction this year. The Houston Astros obviously enjoying life right about now.
On our Honda League leaders, you see it coming up. Fire with fire. The Astros hope to continue their league-leading home run show for their fireballing rookie pitcher Lance McCullers, who takes them out when we come back.
Is contagious, and we have a good time together. This group is very close knit together, but they're also very balanced. We never get really too high. We don't get too low. We do celebrate the wins when we have them, and we are very methodical in the day-to-day approach, and that's again, it's going to pay dividends over the length of the season that we have. We're still only in May, but all these games count.
That's A.J. Hinch with the Geico quote of the day. This team feeling really good about what they've been doing here lately, but they're extremely excited about what's going on today. Just moments ago, Lance McCullers made his way from the bullpen to the dugout here, to all smiles and all high fives. This team really excited to see what Lance McCullers is made of. They haven't had a lot of opportunities to actually see him pitch. They've just heard the numbers like we have. 43 strikeouts over 29 innings pitched. And Lance, if you ask him why he thinks he's he's here as early as he is. He said it's his ability to control not just his pitches, but the game now, something he worked on. Astros also wanted him to work on fastball command and develop that third pitch, which is the changeup, something he's also become very comfortable with. And as for his dominance in Double-A, you heard me say some of the numbers earlier. McCullers said it started in spring training of this year, was comfortable. He said his mental game, though, caught up with what he was able to do physically, and he's had confidence in every start he's made this year. Looks to carry that over into what can be a very exciting but also a very nerve-wracking day. Guys, how you doing?
Great. It's a fantastic day when we can watch a major league debut for a first place club. Wow. How much better does it get than this, Ash?
Let's get on the mound ourselves, Brownie. I'm not sure our stuff will be quite this good, but I think we're in for a treat to watch the great stuff of Lance McCullers now at the age of 21.
Well, with McCullers now coming to the big leagues at that age 21, and he's the youngest Astro to do that with his debut since Jose Altuve, but the youngest pitcher since Carlos Hernandez back in 01. That's going to be a story tonight. And he was the 41st player drafted in the 2012 draft. His father, Lance McCullers Sr., is here tonight, of course. Lance Sr. was the 41st player drafted in 1982.
You know, and one of the really intriguing things, I think, in looking at the minor league games this year for Lance McCullers, he pitched in 6 games. He was only scored on in 2 of those games. One of those was a single run unearned. So 2 runs in 1 ball game earned against McCullers over 6 ball games. So it just says his stuff dominated at Double-A.
Here's the lineup now for the Oakland A's. They've lost 4 in a row. Bob Melvin leads off with Coco Crisp in left field. Marcus Semion's the shortstop. Josh Reddick in right field. Billy Butler the DH. Stephen Vogt is their best hitter so far this year. He's the catcher with Max Muncy at first base. Brett Laurie at third. Sam Fuld in center field and Eric Sogard at second base. And it gets started with Crisp, the switch hitting outfielder who was reinstated from the 15-day disabled list 12 days ago. There is strike 1, and it comes in at 94 from Lance McCullers Jr.
Oh, that's impressive. And a little bit of running action to boot.
Crisp with 2 hits and 40 at-bats has been quite a catalyst over the last few seasons for Oakland. That one's in around the knees. Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire, rings up strike 2.
Wow. Right up to 95 with that kind of location. Welcome to the big leagues.
Crisp looks at it. He checks his swing on appeal to Paul Emmel, the third base umpire, and it's 1-2. McCullers had his last outing 6 days ago at San Antonio with 4 perfect innings.
Jason Castro trying to frame one in there.
Chop to the right side. Here's Chris Carter tossing, and McCullers taking it. There's 1 big league out for McCullers.
Well, he gets the put out on that first major league out. The defense behind him now tonight. Outfield left to right. Preston Tucker, Jake Marisnick, and George Springer on the infield left side. Jonathan Villar at third. Marwin Gonzalez, Jose Altuve, and Chris Carter on the right. And behind the plate, Jason Castro.
Now the shortstop, Marcus Semien, who has hit well, but he's had major problems in the field. He looks at ball 1. Semien checks in at .314 for this game with 6 homers, 15 runs batted in. He's in the top 5 in hits in the American League with 48, including 8 doubles. It's a 2-ball, no-strike count on Semien, who came in a trade from the Chicago White Sox. Semien's 24 years old. He's from San Francisco. He's hit 2 homers against Houston pitching this year. Fouling that one back, he goes to a 2-1 count. So he's a .240 hitter this season against the Astros. He came in the Jeff Samardzija trade back in December. McCullers is currently ranked the number 10 prospect for Houston by MLB.com.
I might beg to differ. He happens to be one of the guys now in the big leagues, and so I would call that a little bit higher prospect.
It would seem so, with his rapid ascendancy to the majors. And the breaking pitch is up. He calls it a breaking ball. He said some people call it a slider, some call it a curve. It depends on what my objective is for the pitch, but I just call it a breaking ball, he says.
That's a little bit like Dallas Keuchel. One breaking ball, he just mixes it around.
There's a walk to Semien. And Josh Reddick will follow. Reddick has put together a nice start in game number 40. He has 6 homers, 28 runs batted in, a .328 average to this point of the season for Reddick. Reddick's 28 years old, and he's been a mainstay of this Oakland club. Hit 32 homers for them in 2012, driving in 85 that year and winning a Gold Glove. That's ball 1 to him, with the infield overshifting him to pull. This Oakland club has scored 178 runs. That's 3rd best in the American League, averaging 4.5 runs per game. It's a 2-ball, no strike count.
These Oakland A's actually have a few guys off to nice starts on their years. Reddick, Boat, Semien. It's not all adding up for W's for the club.
They've lost 10 of their last 11. That's in for a strike, and it's 2-1. It appears that McCullers is trying to establish his other pitches, but so far the fastball is his staple in this early going. Reddick's a .303 career hitter against Houston pitching. That one's out of play, and it's 2-2. Chad Qualls made his major league debut, as you recall, with the Astros, and I asked him if he remembered how it went. He said, well, I walked the first hitter, and he said, my leg was shaking, so I didn't throw to first base. He said, Andy Pettit asked me afterward how I felt, and I explained that to him, and he said, that's awesome.
It is. There's that moment you get on the field and you have no control over your body.
Tapped up the middle. Here's the shift on. There's Marlon Gonzalez throwing it away at first, but Carter came off the bag. He got the out. Then the footwork didn't play properly into getting that double play, so it's a 6 unassisted out, number 2. Different footwork required out of that shift.
It's kind of like the ground ball where you throw on the run as a shortstop, a little more extreme in the angle created, but yeah, that throw just never had a chance.
It's a tough one, Ash, because he has to go back toward left field and then turn him back and throw back across his body.
Did we just see the first changeup in the major leagues thrown by Lance McCullers?
Changeup, yeah.
Left it up a bit, but still had the rollover effect.
Now Billy Butler takes strike 1. Butler's put together a 4-game hitting streak. At .268, he has 4 bombs. He's driven in 21. Longtime Kansas City Royal. And the infield has shifted the other direction for Butler. It's 1-1.
Well, that breaking ball, as McCullers calls it, is coming up out of his hand. It's coming upward, and that's not good. You always want to have the ball start downward like it looks like a fastball.
That's in for a strike. That was a better one.
Yes, it definitely was. And I think we can look at the previous one here, and you'll see as it comes out of the hand gets under it, and it starts upward before it tries to start coming back down. Really never accomplished that.
McCullers rides it up, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. McCullers has pitched here at Minute Maid Park. That happened at the end of spring training this year in an exhibition game. Kansas City Royals were here.
He's bringing it right now. I don't know if he brought that kind of stuff when he got the chance here.
Breaking ball, tap foul, and it stays at 2-2 with Stephen Vogt on deck. When Jose Altuve made his major league debut July 20th of 2011, he was 21 years 75 days. McCullers a little bit older than that. He's 21 years 228 days. He's the 9th different pitcher to start a game for Houston this year. That ties the Dodgers for tops in the majors. He gets a punch out. How about that? number 1. First major league strikeout and a scoreless first inning. Scorebooks, it's history by Lance McCullers Jr. Now the Astros come up with this starting lineup for A.J. Hinch, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Altuve at second base, leading it off, followed by third baseman Jonathan Villar tonight, batting second. It's George Springer in right field, Evan Gattis the DH, Preston Tucker in left field, Chris Carter at first base, Marwin Gonzalez the shortstop, batting seventh, followed by catcher Jason Castro and center fielder Jake Marisnick.
And on the mound, it is left-hander Drew Pomeranz. The Astros are growing accustomed to this lefty out there. He's made 4 career starts, 5 games overall against the Astros, and he's 0-2, ERA up over 6. And so the Astros have enjoyed the time they have spent against him. Last time out against the Boston Red Sox, pitched well, though. 1 earned in 7 innings.
Jose Altuve gets it going with 50 hits. He's third in the American League. Leads the Astros in many departments. He gets a first pitch breaking ball. Strike one to Altuve. 323 for Jose. 5 homers, 24 runs batted in, and 353 lifetime against Oakland. That's the best of all opposing players. He gets drilled. Altuve hit by the pitch. Looked like it got him maybe in the left rib cage. First time he's been hit this year.
Wow. How many times can you get hit on one pitch? Let's see. 1, 2. The elbow took the second one, but yeah. Well, that upper thigh area, maybe the outside of it, or the cheek. Hope that doesn't slow down the running game. I'm sure right now Altuve would like to exploit.
First hit batsman for Pomeranz this season. He pitched well his last time out. Altuve's aboard, and he has 13 steals, ranking second in the American League in 17 tries. Jonathan Villar, the batter. He takes off. Here's the throw from Vogt. It's high, and he stole the base. It doesn't hurt so much now.
I was just going to say, that leg is killing him.
That's his 14th steal.
You know, you can almost sense it with Jose Altuve. You want to drill me, huh? In the legs? Okay, take this. Stephen Vogt has thrown well for the Oakland A's from behind the plate, and so that's just picking one up against the lefty.
The pitch was strike one to Villar. Third baseman in tight. Laurie bunted his way. Laurie will throw to first and get the out. The sacrifice goes from 5 to 3. Altuve to third, 1 out.
Okay, so you play for a run in the first inning. I wouldn't have minded either seeing Villar take a swing from that strong side of the plate, the right side, but Astros trying to jump on top, and that's been a great number for the club this year.
That'll bring the infield in for Bob Melvin. VR getting Altuve to third, setting it up for George Springer. Runner at third, one out for George. Big cut, strike one. George has 15 runs batted in with 6 homers and a 190 batting average.
And 16-1 is that number for the club this year when scoring first.
Springer's 3 for 17 on this homestand. He looks at that one, and the count's even at 1-1 with Evan Gattis on deck. The Astros have only 2 hitters hitting higher than 240, and yet they're 7th in runs scored, and they're 25-13. One ball, 2 strikes. They've done some good jobs recently of situational hitting, and Springer's been a part of that. Pomeranz has some working room here at 1 and 2. Springer with a ground out brought a runner home from third in the 6th inning Thursday night against Toronto for the 2nd out. That's in tight. That was when the infield played back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. George is 1 for 5 against Pomeranz. He was a first-round pick of Cleveland in 2010. Oakland got him in a trade after the 2013 season. He's from Collierville, Tennessee, and the University of Mississippi. George looks at it, and it's 3-2. Springer's walked 21 times. That's in the top 5 in the American League.
Imagine if he gets his game together and starts hanging out the ropes he's capable of. How many times he might walk at that point?
True. He has 5 homers in the last 16 games. Ball 4, and Springer is on at first. First and third, one out for Evan Gattis.
Defensively for the Oakland A's tonight in the outfield, Coco Crisp in left, Sam Fuld is in center, Josh Reddick in right. On the left side of the infield, Brett Lawrie and Marcus Semien. On the right, Eric Sogard and Max Muncy, and Stephen Vogt is your catcher.
Evan Gattis is the batter, first and third, and speedy runners on both bases. Vogt comes out in front of the plate, gets the infield defense set. Springer has 10 steals in 11 tries. Gattis at 188 has 7 bombs. He's driven in 20. Evan has hit well against Oakland. .333, 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. Double play depth for Semien and Sogard. Evan takes, and it's a strike. Gattis hit a home run Saturday night. Evan is 4 for 19 on this homestand. In his last 20 games, he has a .536 slugging percentage. This one's to right field. Altuve will tag. Reddick has a big-time arm. Here's the catch. He fires toward the plate. It's offline, and the run scores. Run down on Springer unless he can get back. He dives, and he did get back. Sac fly by Gattis. 21st run batted in for Evan. Altuve scores 1-0 Houston, and Springer got back to first.
Well, that's taken it as far as you can for George Springer. I think Sogard might have been the man that could have helped here by backing into second base. No play there for Sogard where he's standing the second baseman. But I'll tell you what, that throw from right field, if on line, I think had a good shot of getting Jose Altuve despite his speed.
Reddick had the arm strength, but the throw drifted up the line toward third. And Gattis was there acting as the first base coach for Springer. That's pitching in.
Maybe auditioning for some future date.
Usually it's the guy who's around home plate helping the runner coming in from third. Preston Tucker bats. Tucker looks at it. There is strike one to Preston. 333, no homers, 3 runs batted in for Preston. He was 6 for 11 in the Toronto series, and as a major leaguer, he's done extremely well. 3-game hitting streak.
And he's done some serious raking against lefties on the mound.
Yes, he said he hit lefties well this year. AAA Fresno. And I believe he has faced Pomeranz before in the minor leagues.
Hitting a cool 400 right now. 2 for 5 against the lefties.
No, he's faced Sonny Gray. That's right, in college.
Well, then he knows what good stuff in the major leagues looks like.
Yeah, and we'll see Sonny Gray tomorrow night. Chris Carter on deck. Now Tucker has displayed how he hits lefties. Listen, base hits off lefty relievers on this homestand.
One of those 2 hits against lefties, a double for Tucker. He's been stinging it, just hanging out ropes.
Springer draws the throw.
Our TXU Energy Power player is Mr. Preston Tucker, and why not the way he's been hanging it out. Slider gets raked, fastball on the hands, pummeled down the right field line. He goes the other way, actually taking a pitch in, and then another shot to right field. The guy has been very impressive, I think, to say the least, to this point. And there's no reason to not see him as often as possible.
He had an RBI double off lefty Aaron Loop on Thursday, and he had a single off lefty Jeff Francis on Saturday in that Toronto series. Up the middle, and it goes to the shortstop, and Semien gets the force play on Springer. The Astros get a run on no hits. They leave a man, and they're up 1-0.
He picked up a strikeout, fastball at the knees to start Billy Butler, and then that's one getaway, that launch slider of ball, paints one nicely to get ahead, and then evens the count, and then Uncle Charlie showed up. Now it turns more into a slider and the punch out. That's the first in the major leagues for Lance McCullers. There are going to be plenty to follow.
1-0 is his lead going to the second inning, and facing Stephen Vogt. He's the most potent Oakland hitter in 2015. He's tied for the AL RBI lead with 30. He has 9 bombs and a .327 batting average for Stephen Vogt. Not only that, but 19 walks and 19 strikeouts for Vogt. Terrific numbers. He looks at strike one. He's one of those guys who typically can go deep into counts.
Yeah, he strikes me as the classic in recent years Oakland A's hitter.
Yes. Moneyball man. 1-1. Stevens 30 years old. He came up with Tampa Bay. Oakland got him in a trade in April of 2013. Infield plays him to pull. He looks at a strike, and it's 1-2.
And he wears yellow nail polish on his right hand fingernail, so he's got all of that going for him.
He struck him out. Made him look bad on that swing. 2 punch outs for McCullers.
Right back to the fastball for the second strikeout. Good heat off the corner, but that bat starts early, and that's what happens when a guy has really good fastball, and that's what McCullers has. You can see even his four-seamer is a little off center.
Max Muncy is the first baseman tonight. He's from Midland, Texas. Went to Baylor University, 24 years old. Muncy at .227 with 1 homer, has 3 runs batted in. 5 for 22 in the big leagues. Last year he led the Texas League in walks with 87 for Midland. He made his major league debut against the Astros at Oakland April 25th and got a hit in that game. Sunday he hit his first major league homer. Foul ball makes it a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Muncy.
I believe that's the changeup, a little sinking action on it. Boy, you get that pitch mixed in with that 94, 95 mile an hour heater and a breaking ball that varies from time to time. Good looking stuff.
Two balls, 2 strikes. McCullers is listed at 6'2". Last year he pitched in the difficult California League, walking 56 in 97 innings. Fly ball out to left center field. Well hit. Long run for Marisnik. That ball is off the wall. Jake now will pick it up and get it in to the shortstop. Marwin Gonzalez on a double by Muncy.
You talked about McCullers pitching in the California League last year, and I was wondering, in that Lancaster ballpark, wind blowing out a lot of times, what a fly ball like this winds up doing. Does it get out of the yard? Well hit, but certainly not a major league home run.
Yeah, there could be trouble in that yard with the wind blowing out most of the time, we understand, in Lancaster. Brett Lawrie, .255, 2 homers, 14 runs batted in. Takes that pitch, and there's strike 1 on Lawrie, formerly with the Toronto Blue Jays. He was traded in the Josh Donaldson deal. Laurie's 25 years old.
One of the league leaders in the tattoo category.
He looks at that one. He's hit only 176 his last 9 games. Saw a little bit of that Toronto game today. Toronto beating the Angels 10-6 this afternoon on Victoria Day, or maybe they call it Victorious Day, at Rogers Center. And Josh Donaldson led off in that game for Toronto. He had shaved his beard, had a big day.
Blue Jays got in flight early, huh?
Yeah, they actually did get in flight early. They jumped on lefty C.J. Wilson and put up some crooked numbers. They look like a different team. Struck him out. That's 3 punch outs for McCullers.
Pretty wicked looking stuff right now. And he's got A's hitters swinging at pitches not in the strike zone. We saw Vogt go down with a fastball in off the plate. There, you can see already it's setting up for the breaking ball as it comes out, and this one stays down off the plate. It's really tough as a hitter. Guy throws that hard, you have to react quickly.
Slumping Sam Fuld is in the box. Fuld takes, and there's strike 1 to a 200 hitter with no homers, 5 runs batted in. Fuld came out of the chute quite nicely, but he has gone 2 for his last 41. He's had 0 for 18 and 0 for 15 streaks in there. 1 ball, 1 strike to Sam Fuld. Fuld has 11 career hits and 31 at bats here at Minute Maid Park. As Ash mentioned, the A's won the first 2 games played with the Astros this year. The Astros have won the next 4. The Astros were 5-25 against Oakland through April 25th of this year. They've gone 12-8. That's last year. They've gone 12-8 since, and that makes it 2-1.
I think that was a big hump to even start getting over, is just being able to beat a team like the Oakland A's in recent seasons.
Oakland really pounded some knots on Houston the last couple of years. Had some blowout wins. There's pretty ugly games in there from the Houston perspective. 3 balls and a strike now to Fuld.
It's a good looking fastball just off the outside edge.
A.J. Hinch feels very good about McCullers being ready to compete at this level. Just promoted to the 40-man roster today. And that meant that someone had to be moved off the 40-man roster so there would be room for McCullers. Jed Lowry was placed on the 60-day disabled list, which removed him from the 40-man roster, at least until he's ready to go again. Samuel DeDuno, additionally, was placed on the 15-day disabled list with a sore lower back, and that made room on the 25-man roster for McCullers. So now Jake Buchanan, who was promoted a few days ago, stays as the long man, replacing DeDuno in the Astros bullpen. AJ was explaining about some mechanical changes that McCullers has made in the last year with help from one of the roving pitching instructors at Class A ball, Doug White. Also Don Alexander, one of the minor league pitching coaches, and the Double-A pitching coach this year, Doug Brocail, have all worked with Lance. He was throwing across his body, so when his left foot landed, instead of going directly toward home plate, it was a little bit on the third base side, which meant that he wasn't opening up, and now he is in a much better alignment toward the plate. And you can see that front foot. There's the walk to Fuld. Second walk of the night.
You know, and it really comes down to how successful a guy is. Jared Weaver, for example, with the LA Angels, crossfires as much as anybody in the game, and he's had a hugely successful career. But yeah, you can see that landing foot is really pretty much in line with what most guys will do.
Eric Sogard at 262 has no homers, 8 runs batted in. Scrappy second baseman, good defensive player. And it's ball 1 to Sogard. So perhaps the mechanical adjustment has helped McCullers' command of his pitches. The walks were a little high last year at Lancaster. He had walked 11 in 29 innings this season at Double-A Corpus Christi. That's quite good. In for a strike, 1-1.
Again, let's glance at that landing area. You can see where it's digging up right there, and that's a pretty good true straight line toward the plate. But there are examples in the major leagues, and good ones, that do crossfire.
Now 2 balls and a strike for McCullers.
Do major leaguers believe in superheroes?
What are you suggesting?
Well, I don't know. I think there may be a superhero involved here with Lance McCullers.
All right. That's a strike call. It's 2-2. Didn't know if he'd get that call from Jordan Baker.
Yeah, let's see.
Check it out.
Let's see. Batman may be involved. Oh, yes. Yeah, that could be a secret weapon.
I haven't seen any Batman shoes yet in the big leagues until now. Have you?
First time, but it could be the next craze.
Foul ball, first base side, keeps the count at 2-2 to Sogard. This spot in the Houston starting rotation has not yielded many innings from several different pitchers who have been used in this spot. Asher Wojciechowski began the season. He pitched the 3rd game, but we're going to call that the number 4 starting spot in the rotation because Colin McHugh pitched the 4th game. Ooh. It's 3-2.
Hello, you get your catcher Castro setting up away, and the pitch comes back toward the middle and inner part of the plate. Doesn't mean it's a ball, does it?
Big 3-2 pitch is coming to Sogard. Runners will move, and it's hit into right field. Coming home is Muncy to tie this game at 1. RBI single for Sogard, his 9th run batted in.
May not look like it, like the classic major league player, but it's a good little player for the Oakland A's. And Lance McCullers might have gotten robbed on 1 pitch, and it leads to the first run he allows. Has to come back 3-2. Sogard ready for the fastball and hits it sharply.
The A's tie it. Big 2-out 2-strike delivery from Sogard, and now that turns it over. Brings up their leadoff man Crisp, who grounded out in the 1st. Crisp had surgery on his right elbow April 3rd for bone chips. There's strike 1 to Coco. So he made it back fairly quickly from that. He's a guy who's really fueled a lot of their top of the order offense over the last few years. Career .270 hitter and a career .330 on base average for the speedy Coco Crisp. That one near the left field line will slice out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. There continues to be a lot of rain in the Houston area. Got a ton of it overnight last night, so the roof remains closed. Looks like the forecast is about the same for every day this week, about 40% chance of thunderstorms.
I like that conversation better than the drought word that comes up during the summer.
Yeah, hopefully West Texas got a fair amount of rain out of all this. It's been a terrible drought. Foul back, and it's still 0-2.
The slider or breaking ball, whatever you want to call it, hangs up. And you can see at least early on that looks like a tendency for McCullers. The breaking ball comes upward out of the hand. Probably would like to change that.
Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Some of the video we had seen on the breaking ball from McCullers in the minor leagues with the number of strikeouts we saw looked like an over-the-top yakker.
Yes,
looked like that curveball more than what we're seeing right now.
True. Two balls, 2 strikes. Marcus Semien on deck. In that 10-6 win for Toronto today over the Angels. The Angels go to 19-19 now, so the Astros have a chance to move 6.5 games in front of them. Bautista hit his 7th. Pujols his 7th. Now Crisp has a full count. 53 pitches already for McCullers, 30 of them strikes. That's a high number in the 2nd inning. Astros 25-13 record ties the start of the '98 club, which went on to win 102 games. Now the crowd gets behind McCullers for this 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 to load the bases for Semien. 3rd walk for McCullers. And Jeff Luhnow has said that McCullers will get at least 1 more start.
One of those innings where, and I don't know if it'll come up on the mound, probably not out of the mouth of Lance McCullers. Jason Castro may mention it at some point, but strikeout certainly could have happened on Sam, make that Eric Sogard before he had the RBI hit, and therefore face at least a couple less hitters in the inning.
Julia has more in the relationship between Brent Strom and Lance McCullers Jr.
Yes, Lance getting in yesterday, got a chance to sit through the meetings and just see what a day in the life was like. But today, Brent Strom saw him trying to watch a lot of video. That's one of the biggest differences when you come from AA, AAA to here, just the amount of resources you had. And Lance was really trying to get a lot of video in. And Strom said, no, stop. We're not doing this. Go out there, pitch the way you pitch, just feel it out.
Now the bases are loaded with 2 outs in a 1-1 game, and it's Marcus Semien who walked in the first. Reddick is on deck. That's high for ball 1.
Oh, that's a strike in the real world of strike zones, I do believe. All the umpires have got to get with the program.
Ground ball at the middle. McCullers can't field it. Altuve can. Throws to first. Gets him. And that leaves the bases loaded. Oakland has a run on 2 hits. 3 men stranded. It's 1-1 in the second. Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. It's 1-1. Pitching coach Brent Strom talking with Lance McCullers Jr. And after the Athletics tied the game 1-1, he left the bases loaded on the good play by Altuve, getting Semien. Now Chris Carter bats against Drew Pomeranz. Taking ball 1. Chris Carter at 163 has 6 homers. He's driven in 16 runs.
You notice what young pitchers tend to say to their pitching coach a lot in the early days? Yes, yes, sir, yes, okay, you're right, yes. Wow.
2 balls and no strikes. Have you ever been around a rookie who was
heavens yes
not so agreeable?
Okay, well, it probably has happened. I mean, I saw the great Dennis Eckersley come to the big leagues, and he was pretty brash, to say the least.
How about somebody like Mike LaCosse?
I didn't see him as a rookie. He was with the Reds, I think, at the time.
Yeah, I was around him.
He was brash, right?
He was brash. 3-0 to Carter. He might have said that. 3 balls and a strike to Chris. Chris had a homer and drove in 4 in the Toronto series, going 3 for 12. That homer Saturday night was in the Astros bullpen, a 3-run shot. The Astros win. This is a pop-up foul. Steven Vogt comes over. Here's Muncy, and Vogt handles out number 1. Pomeranz comes back on the 3-1 pitch.
When you are struggling and you're, as a hitter, you're in that fastball count, in this case 3-1, and you get the fastball and it's right down the middle and you don't center it up, you're deep into a struggle, and that pitch is right there where Chris Carter should have wanted it, and it's just not happening. It happens to every major league hitter.
Marwin Gonzalez gets the call at shortstop tonight, with Jonathan Villar playing third. 234 for Marwin, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in. Takes a look at it. It's strike 1. Marwin hit a home run Saturday in the 6-5 win over Toronto. He got a day of rest yesterday. It's a constant juggling act for A.J. Hinch, moving players in and out of this lineup. Part of it is the matchup game that he plays. That's in for a strike, and it's 0-2. Marwin Gonzalez. He looks back at the home plate umpire, Jordan Baker.
Yeah, we've seen some calls go both ways. That one, certainly callable pitch. That's some of the ball hitting a bit of the edge of the strike zone, way up there at the front of the plate. That's where you have to look on that breaking ball.
Marwin takes that in the dirt. He is 8 for 22 as a right-handed batter. Both shortstops contributing to the cause lately. Jonathan Villar had a pair of doubles and drove in a run as the shortstop yesterday. The Astros won that one over Toronto 4-2. Now they're 5-1 on this homestand. The Giants took the first game of this homestand, which will end with a Wednesday afternoon contest between Dallas Keuchel and Jesse Hahn. That's a 1:10 start Wednesday. The Astros have to travel for a day game Thursday in Detroit. And a strikeout. That's number 1 for Pomeranz. Here's an oddity for the Astros' first inning, Ash. Did you see the strikeout?
See that spiked curveball, as pitchers at least used to call it.
Jason Castro, the batter. The game opened for Houston in the first. Altuve was hit by a pitch. Sacrifice bunt moved him to third after he stole second. Springer walked. Gattis sacrifice fly. So none of the 4 Astros hitters had an official at bat, but they scored a run before an official AB in this game.
I don't know how you score that in your book. I go green on everything like that, and everything is green.
Okay.
Other than what wound up being an out on Springer, who had walked. But yeah, it's very intriguing to see what happened in that inning.
You've been going green for some time.
I'm all about conservation.
0-2. Do you ever see yourself going paperless on scorebooks?
I could see that happening. I need somebody to take care of that for me. Scorebooks are not really my friend anymore.
Jason Castro has sat out the last 2 games, but he was active going to a school with his wife Maris today. And a strikeout makes it a 1-2-3 second for Pomeranz. Game tied at 1 after a couple. comes out after throwing 56 pitches in the first 2 innings and walking 3 to see if he can regroup against the 3, 4, 5 hitters of the A's, Reddick, Butler, and Vogt, in the 3rd inning. We saw him in conference with his pitching coach, Brent Strom, on the Astros bench. See if we see any different wrinkles this time around, Ash.
You know, command is what it's all about right now. Stuff is there. I mean, he's big time in terms of stuff, and I see a lot of good stuff here in the first couple of innings in terms of what this guy might prove to be as a major league starter.
He's the 2nd member of general manager Jeff Luhnow's first draft class in 2012 to reach the big leagues. Preston Tucker was the first.
Here we go.
And Tucker in left field, Josh Reddick in the batter's box as the 3rd inning opens for Lance McCullers Jr. Reddick bounced into a force play. He looks at strike 1.
Well, that fastball down to 91 with that one, and so I don't know if that was a get it over kind of a fastball to start things.
Right. Maybe he's trying to throttle back a bit. It's line to second. Altuve is there, down on his knees to field that bullet.
Category of fortunate out for Lance McCullers. Sometimes when you back off a little bit, lose just a couple of miles an hour, major league hitters are right in that zone.
Now it's Billy Butler. Butler struck out in the 1st inning. First major league punch out for McCullers. Well, maybe he'll continue to take a few miles per hour off to try to get ahead. Throw strike 1 more. Bouncer back to McCullers. 2 outs on 3 pitches.
The Biggio Hall of Fame 7-game ticket package offers great matchups, including the Yankees, Tigers, and Dodgers. Be there for the anniversary of Biggio's 3,000th hit, Biggio Weekend, and more. To purchase tickets, visit Astros.com/Biggio HOF or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Stephen Vogt with 2 outs, nobody on, up for the 2nd time. He punched out in the 2nd inning. Shift is on for him, and it's ball 1. The A's are just starting a road trip off a 1-5 homestand, losing their last 4. It's a strike, and it's 1-1. They are 1-13 in 1-run games. They've lost 5 in a row on the road. McCullers bounces the breaking pitch to go to 2-1.
For the life of me, I'd love to understand the logic of 1-13 in 1-run games, and then you turn it around and look at what the Astros are in 1-run games, 10-2. What's the reason that a team finds one side or the other on that ledger?
That's complicated. In for a strike, 2-2.
That's a good answer. I feel now like I know much more.
That's what people say when they don't want to explain something, right?
It is what it is. There you go.
Just off the plate, Castro held it there. He looks pretty unhappy. Appeared to be saying something to Jordan Baker.
You missed one the previous inning, it cost him. This one is outside. And you want to make sure that you're right about your assessment.
Ground ball, Altuve. 1-2-3, 3rd inning for McCullers, and the game is tied at 1.
last 6 games, they are just bombing away. Luis Valbuena is the club leader in that category. George Springer hanging on that back foot and just lashing one to left center field. Colby Rasmus, Jose Altuve. How about this bomb to left center here on the homestand? You like that? Well, Evan Gattis likes this and lets his teammates know it's just been one guy after the other. Nobody among the leaders, the top leaders in the American League right now, but just a load of guys coming through.
Jake Marisnick will lead it off. It's a 1-1 game, bottom of the third. Marisnick at .291. Has delivered 3 home runs, and he's also driven in 15 to this point of the season. A good leadoff man, so to speak, in an inning, out of the number 9 spot. Altuve and VR to follow. There is strike one. Dave Hudgens, the hitting coach, says Marisnick has been hitting the ball 4 more power. He's keeping his weight distributed better this year than in the past. He's staying back. Ground ball to the hole, and that's snapped, but not in time. Semien got his glove on it, but then couldn't throw out Marisnick, who gets an infield hit. That's a good spot for Marisnick with his speed, and it's hit number 1 for Houston.
That would have been fun to watch with maybe say Andrelton Simmons. What's his name?
Yeah, Andrelton Simmons. Yeah.
Any shortstop is going to be hard pressed to be able to get Jake Marisnick on that play.
He's aboard, and he has 9 steals in 11 tries. Altuve, the batter. You talked about Vogt's good arm. Altuve stole a base in the first. Astros turned that into a run. Pitch out, ball 1. Altuve, Dave Hudgens, the hitting coach, said is really interested in getting better. Better on base average is what he's looking for.
It's a tough spot if you're Pomeranz to fall behind 1-0 automatically right there with Altuve at the plate.
It is. Not a good swing for Jose. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He looked fooled on that pitch.
Yeah, he did, and that's quite rare for Jose.
Bob Melvin has been an outstanding major league manager. His club was 88-74 last year, finishing in 2nd place, grabbing one of the wild card playoff spots. There's a throw over first. And the A's, with that game in Kansas City, had a nice lead with John Lester on the mound. 4-run lead going to the 8th inning, and it got away from it. American League Manager of the Year in 2012, Bob Melvin. He's managed 3 straight playoff teams. They're going, and it's fouled. 1-2. So how can a team go from 88-74 one year to 13-26 to start the next year, right?
See ya, Yoenis. I don't know. Yoenis Cespedes, the guy that was traded last year at the trade deadline, a good offensive player, an okay outfielder, but I thought he was a guy that made a big difference in terms of presence in the offensive side of things.
Altuve with a ground ball. And there's Semien playing at the second to Sogard for the force on Marisnick, 1 out.
But I don't know that that's the answer. Of course, they got a couple of front-line pitchers in the A's rotation last year. It was supposed to be what Billy Beane thought would take them over any hump that might have been in front of them. I'm not sure there was one. It didn't pan out that way, and then they lost those pitchers. So, yeah, it was a formula for difficult times, I would think. I didn't know the times would be this tough.
Well, they had major arm surgeries to a couple of their frontline starters in the rotation. Jonathan Villar is the batter. He put down a sac bunt to third earlier, and the throw goes to first. That's Jared Parker and A.J. Griffin, who are out, coming back from those surgeries right now. Then they made the trade with Toronto, trading Josh Donaldson, their excellent third baseman, to the Blue Jays. And they have had quite a roster turnover in their 40-man roster since last year. 16 new players on the 40-man for Oakland since a year ago.
Who was their most impactful player offensively last year? I think I know where you would go.
Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson, their third baseman, and then they trade him. And it's kind of hard to figure out year to year with the A's.
They got Brett Lawrie for him.
And Brett Lawrie could turn into a very good major league player. To this point, he's been erratic.
1 ball, 1 strike. They also got a couple pitchers, Nolan and Graveman, in that deal. And they could really play big into the Oakland future. Kendall Graveman was in the rotation earlier this season. Sean Nolan, also a promising arm. 2 balls and a strike. But nonetheless, things have cratered for this Oakland club in the early going. This is their lowest winning percentage this late in the season since '94. Big cut by VR. The count goes to 2-2.
Yeah, I think they got absolutely crushed in the starting rotation. They needed help for Sonny Gray, and they may get it when it's all said and done. It is early on in the season to be making, terminal decisions about a club, but they have been hurt in a number of areas.
Bouncer up the middle, and that will be gloved. Backhand flip, and it's dropped at second base. Great play by Sogard, but Semien dropped it, and the Astros have an opening here. Semien, who's made 13 errors this season, 6 in his last 8 games, failed to corral that flip from Sogard.
Very nice play by Sogard, and the flip was a nicely presented one, I thought. Possibly a notch behind.
It's an error on Semien.
One of the things we had heard about the Oakland A's for the start of this series was if they make an error, watch it hurt them. And the Astros would love to fulfill that prophecy.
This is the 15th game in a row in which they've made an error. They made 4 yesterday. 43 errors this season for Oakland have led to 29 unearned runs. That is exasperating for that man. Now first and second, one out for George Springer. Kurt Young is the pitching coach, so that's put these pitchers under a lot of duress, having to work around all those misplays behind them. Springer drew a walk in the first inning. Golden opportunity for the Astros with their 3-4 hitters due up, with 1 out in the inning following the error. Would you have thought that would have been a double play ball if they had made the transfer correctly at second?
I was so closely watching what Sogard was doing in the interaction with Semien at shortstop that I wasn't evaluating VR going down the line.
Right.
I'm not sure Jonathan runs quite as well as when we first saw him a couple of years ago, but he was digging down the line. You can see there was a pretty good shot at the double play.
Yeah, there was. Springer takes it. It's 2-0 to George.
So I guess to answer your question after seeing the replay, yes.
True. That helps us.
2-0 count shouldn't hurt George right here.
Back to second base, Altuve on the look by Pomeranz. Astros have won 4 in a row here. They're 13-9 at home. The A's have lost 5 in a row on the road. They're 8-12 away from Oakland. Springer looks at ball 3, and it's 3-0. Really tough sledding for this pitching staff with all the misplays, as we mentioned.
I thought that pitch might be in the strike zone. I'm very curious. And on a 2-0, getting that pitch, that might have been one if George Springer's really feeling it, that he launches.
Altuve takes off. Here's the throw to third. It's there in time, and they get it. Altuve thrown out. And we'll see. He's not leaving. What did you see, Ash?
Ball four.
That's ball four.
So everybody, the throw was a moot point at that time there, and a break for the Astros. Another one. So I mean, it's starting to add up nicely here in the inning.
That's the second walk of the night for Pomeranz.
I have to say, Jordan Baker is not helping the pitchers to this point.
Now Evan Gattis hopes to capitalize on this bases loaded one-out situation. He hit a sac fly in the first inning. Preston Tucker on deck. Altuve, BR, and Springer. All speedy runners. There's strike one. Pomeranz had only walked 11 in 38 2/3 innings. He's walked Springer twice tonight, and he's hit Altuve. On the road, Pomeranz is 0-3 with a 6.86 ERA. He's never beaten Houston, 0-2 with a 6.05 lifetime. One and one. Evan Gattis working on his plate discipline. He has drawn 4 walks this season.
It's kind of one of those nights where a guy can have a big ribby fest.
Gattis hits a ground ball to short. Semien steps on second, throws low to first, but they get the double play. And it's no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 men left. After 3, it's 1-1.
Back to work, but I'm with Lance McCullers, the dad who made it into town from Florida. We're so glad to have you. You got to tell me what your feelings were as your son walked out to the mound for the very first time in the big leagues.
It was a great feeling. You know, something he's worked for all of his life, and this is all he's wanted to do since he was a baby, and his dreams come true, and he looks really good.
A big leaguer yourself, you made your debut at 21 years old. What do you remember about your debut?
I remember, my debut, I came in against Cincinnati with a man on first and second, and they brought me out of the bullpen to face Buddy Bell, and same situation. Really, a little nervous the first batter, and after that, I felt good, and I settled down and did very well.
Little competition with you and your son. You said he beat you by months, but you beat him by days, right?
I beat him by years, but age-wise, but he beat me by months, and I got caught up in August, and so he got caught up in May. So it's been a little battle that he wanted to get there before I did and everything, and it's worked out for him.
Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you around.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, back up to you.
Thanks, Julia. 1-1 score, 1-1 count on Muncy. Muncy doubled to the left center and scored. Showing Bud, he looks at one down and in. for a 2-ball 1-strike count. McCullers threw 21 pitches in his first major league inning, 35 in his second, and 9 in his third. Foul back, and it's a 2-ball 2-strike count.
He could roll that third inning another couple of times here. He could get through 5, maybe 6 innings tonight. I don't know what the pitch limit would be. He's been up to 91 pitches in a minor league game this year.
Well, the skipper indicated probably somewhere around that number. And the good thing, as far as the Astros are concerned, is that they have a relatively rested bullpen ready to go behind him. Ground ball foul, first base side, keeps the count at 2-2. The last time a Houston starter made his major league debut at a younger age than McCullers, it was Jordan Lyles, May 31st, 2011. At Wrigley Field against the Cubs, he was 20 years old, 224 days. Now 3-2. And Jeff Luhnow, generally speaking, likes the Astros players to play at every level in the minors on their way up to the big leagues. McCullers has skipped AAA. Fly ball out to left center field. Tucker with the catch. One down. Technically, though, he was promoted to AAA, and he was there for a few days and was introduced to the team by Tony DeFrancesco, the manager, as one of the newcomers. So he was there. He just didn't pitch there. And then the team was told, and he was told, that he was going right up to the big leagues.
It's good. You get a welcome and see ya.
Brad Lowry struck out in the second inning. Out to center field, backing up Marisnick. 2 outs.
Sometimes there's a real balance between get some outs quickly by taking something off of your stuff, maybe finding a little bigger part of the plate, and giving up the big innings. But right now it's working for Lance.
Sam Folt drew a walk back in the second inning. McCullers worked 97 innings last year at Lancaster. Folt looks at ball one. Strike makes it a 1-ball 1-strike count. There were questions about Mark Appel's progress at AA Corpus Christi for A.J. Hinch during his media session today, working on mechanics. In for a strike, 1-2. And McCullers and Appel were both there at Corpus Christi until a few days ago.
You know, it's a funny thing. You think about golfers a lot of times and working on mechanics and working and changing and all of this. And a lot of times when a guy finds it is when he just says, oh, heck with it. I'm going to go back to au natural a little bit. And it happens in baseball, too.
Now 3-2. What happened with McCullers primarily was the development of his changeup. That's what allowed him to reach this level. Generally speaking, most people believe that a major league starter needs 3 quality pitches. Grounded, and there's the dive by Carter. Carter with the toss to McCullers. Excellent layout by Chris Carter to make it 7 straight A's, retired by McCullers. This is a terrific play by Carter.
Minute Maid Park. And MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. 1-1 game. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Drew Pomeranz versus Lance McCullers Jr. Pomeranz will face Preston Tucker, who bounced into a force play first time up. He delivers strike 1. That's the 124th pitch of this game.
Ooh, that does not say speedy.
Curve gets a swing, and it's 0-2. Well, you've talked about the home plate umpire, Jordan Baker, and the strike zone tonight.
Yeah, I think there have been maybe at least a handful or more pitches in the strike zone that have not been called strikes tonight. And Lance McCullers certainly has room to feel like he was had a bit, but I think the same goes for Pomeranz.
1-2 to Tucker. There have been 9 3-ball counts.
I think the pitches up in the strike zone have been steadily missed this evening.
Tucker bounces that one foul, keeping alive at 1-2. At AAA Fresno, John Singleton was named the Pacific Coast League Player of the Week. He had a league high 23 runs batted in 7 games.
That's all it takes.
That's it. You too can be Player of the Week. He became the first player in the last 10 years in the PCL to drive in at least 20 in a week. 20 in a month sounds pretty good. 2-2.
Were they just playing board games that week?
There must have been. Well, he did not pass go.
Oh, I think he did a couple of times.
Yeah, he got his little bonus, didn't he, for pass and go. 2-2 the count. And of course, there have been a lot of questions about John Singleton being promoted to the big leagues. He drove in 44 runs in 95 games at the big league level last year. Tucker bounces to first. Muncy with the toss. Oh! It didn't happen in time for Oakland. Tucker was hustling. He took nothing for granted, and he beat the toss from Muncy to Pomeranz.
That's not a bad sign right there. Obviously, the hit a good thing, but Tucker runs pretty decent.
And he does get an infield hit on this.
Pomeranz needs to blame himself here. You can see Tucker right away. Comes out going hard, and in the end, it pays off. This is close. Boy, that bang bang worked in the favor of Preston Tucker.
Yeah, he did get there.
Yep.
Just a shame. Love that super mo.
Isn't that great?
That is fantastic. Chris Carter's the batter. He fouled out earlier. We have not had that until this year. There's strike 1, and it does make a difference on plays like that.
And I don't know when you were a kid, Brownie, did you guys play Stratomatic, anything like that to simulate Major League Baseball games?
We played a board game called APBA.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
But same principle.
If you'd have had a guy with 20-some RBIs in a 7-game span, you'd have been crying foul. Something's wrong with this game.
Somebody would have smashed the board game.
Unless, of course, he was on your team, but
1-1. We had that little arrow.
yes,
You spun the arrow.
we rolled dice, but
People would bend that thing. Cheaters try to cheat.
I had a friend that would spin the dice one at a time, and he knew exactly if he held it a certain way that the likelihood was very good to come up on given numbers. We had to then start banking them off the back of the board. That changed everything.
Well, you know the old saying, Ash.
No, I don't.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's right. Well, that's true. I do know that one.
Frowned upon in grammar school, but nonetheless, you get the point. Marwin Gonzalez is on deck. Cardinals won, Mets won. They're in the bottom of the 9th inning. Dandy game going on today at Citi Field. Matt Harvey started and gave up no runs through 8 for the Mets. In tight. Carter has a 2-2 count. John Lackey got the call for St. Louis. He gave up 1 run in 7. A dark night. Matt Harvey has an ERA of 1.98. Familia ruined it, though. He gave up a run in the 9th to the Redbirds, who tied it. Carter takes, and it's a 3-2 count. Boy, the talent in the game under the age of 25. Matt Harvey and all these guys we've been talking about.
Well, I was just going to say Matt Harvey or Jose Fernandez. Who would be the first pitcher taken in a... Well, and I don't even know if those are the only names that would go on that list, but there's some great young talent on the mound.
Fantastic. 3-2 count, nobody out. And that is ball 4. That's the 3rd walk of the game for Pomeranz. That's where the play not made could mushroom.
Yep.
It's Marwin Gonzalez coming up.
Well, the Astros had a golden opportunity thrown at them in the 3rd inning and couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, the A's, as you indicated, have just really been torpedoed when they've made a mistake this year. Bob Melvin probably could go into a long litany, but would choose not to. Now it's Marwin Gonzalez, who struck out in the 2nd.
We could do a combination pregame through postgame show with Bob tomorrow if you'd like.
He might decline that. So now, does he bunt? Jason Castro's on deck. That would mean lefty on lefty, so he probably doesn't bunt. Down here at the bottom of the order. And for Gonzalez, the right side of the plate is his better side as a hitter. Not a good swing, and it's strike 1. Pomeranz has produced some of those tentative swings on the low breaking balls he's thrown. Oakland has the worst fielding percentage in the American League, .971. In the last 10 games, A's starting pitchers have not allowed a single home run. That matches the longest streak for Oakland starting pitchers in the last 14 years.
That's not usually the recipe for failure.
True.
Losing 10 out of 11.
Around a bunt, Marwin takes 1-1. Well, he has Fred Laurie in tight at 3rd base, so he might be able to hit it by him. They've given up 29 unearned runs. They just came off a 1-5 homestand. Starting pitchers were 1-2 despite a 2.70 ERA. And their starters are 3rd best in ERA in the American League this year. Around the bunt, Marwin puts it down. Here's Stephen Vogt with the throw to first. And the sacrifice moves along both runners. Tucker to 3rd, Carter to 2nd, 1 out.
Well, like that first inning, still playing for the sacrifice. Maybe that feel of this could be a close ball game. And the Astros have been so good in the close games this year.
Castro's the batter now. Marisnik on deck. Castro struck out in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 4 in his career against Pomeranz. Busy week for Castro's kids. Book fairs at 3 different HISD schools to promote summer reading. Strike on the breaking pitch to Jason. Jason and Maris will be at Cornelius Elementary tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 12. Distributing $100,000 worth of new books this week to 3 different schools. Foul tip makes it 0-2 now.
It's that breaking ball that got the better of Jason in his first at bat of the night.
Two sacrifice bunts in this game for Houston through 4 innings. They had 3 in the first 38 games. A.J. Hinch has ever really said that he doesn't like the sacrifice bunt. It's pretty obvious that he would prefer to play for the big inning, but one thing managers have to do is get a feel for each particular ball game, and some may stand out as games in which they want the sacrifice bunt.
And you're always looking at what part of the order is batting, who are the guys coming up, how do they fare against a given pitcher. This might have been one to look at, lefty-lefty here for the possible second out.
Popped up, and Vogt now looks at the first baseman, who comes over and plays it. Max Muncy without number 2. It's up to Jake Marisnick.
And that's kind of the game you play right there. Are you willing to give the first out when you've got the lefty coming up against the lefty, and he struggled in his first at bat, so you roll the dice as you see fit.
Left-handed hitters are hitting 152 against Pomeranz this season. All 4 of the home runs he has surrendered are by right-handed sticks.
But you know, the other side of that is when you're playing really well, and the Astros have been, you tend to come through with some key 2-out hits.
Marisnick reached on an infield hit in the hole at short, first time up. Strike 1. Stephen Vogt, the catcher, was reminding his infielders about the possibility of a Marisnick bunt.
If I'm Jake Marisnick, I'm thinking they are going to come right after me with Jose Altuve waiting on deck.
Yes. It's out into right center field, coming over Fuld, and Fuld is there for the catch. No runs a hit, 2 men stranded. After 4, it's still tied at 1.
Have won the last couple of days, but it wasn't easy. Scott Feldman, Colin McHugh actually having to battle their way out of some trouble. Both of their starts, getting to some early trouble, but then finding a way and battling back. Like I said, 19 strikeouts combined between the 2 of these guys. I know A.J. Hinch was really impressed by what he saw from these. You can say veteran for Scott Feldman. I guess we can say that about Colin McHugh now that he's got a little bit of time under his belt. But Ash, how do outings like that affect the team?
Well, I think they're great positives, Julia. I think that when you see a guy go out there and not have his best stuff early on, and then he perseveres, battles, and gives you a chance to win, those are great times back in the clubhouse when you're all said and done, and it's remembered by a team. Lance McCullers on the flip side, great stuff in the first couple of innings, and then command kind of slipped away, but he's starting to rebound.
Strike 1 to Sogard. Sogard drove in the Oakland run with a single to right in the second. That was a big 2-out, 2-strike hit. Joe Thatcher's warming up for Houston. 1-1. '81 pitches for McCullers, showing the need for that warm-up action.
Yeah, that would likely say this is the last inning if he can get through it. But if he can do that, in a 1-1 ball game. He has done a heck of a job in his first outing.
He gets a strikeout on Sogard. Buried the breaking ball. Strikeout number 4.
It's not an easy guy to strike out right there. Brownie says the breaking ball. This one a little more over the top, at least in the way it broke. It wasn't the big anaconda, as I used to hear Nolan Ryan call the over-the-top curveball, but nonetheless very effective.
It did snake its way up there. They're having a merry old time. 1 out, and it's Coco Crisp. He's grounded out and he's walked tonight. Anaconda would strangle some hitters. Ash, there's strike 1.
Slither its way. I don't think Nolan threw anything that slithered up there, but
just the sound of that curveball at home plate.
You can hear something. You're right.
Wouldn't it be something if everybody at home could stand up at home plate and just hear the sounds of baseball?
You know what? A microphone at home, of course, you probably have reasons to turn it down at times, but a microphone to hear some of those sounds would be fabulous.
That's a foul ball. 1-2.
But the sound of the baseball, it does make some of those sounds. Sometimes even a catcher will be throwing, you're the hitter, and you'll have a runner go and the catcher fires down to second and the ball goes right by your ear and you hear that as the ball's heading. And there are some really great sounds, and the smell of the ball being fouled off the bat a lot of times. You see guys sniff their bats. It's that burning leather scent, and it's great.
Swing and a miss by Crisp, who struck him out. Number 5 as he changed speeds on him.
Every Wednesday night home game is $1 Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef, or you can call it Anaconda Beef if you like. Enjoy Dollar Dogs on Wednesday, June 3rd, when the Astros take on the Orioles. For more information, visit Astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Dollar Dog Wednesday's coming up. June 3rd against the Orioles. There's ball 1 to Semien.
Last strikeout there. Change up. You can see the grip in the last fingers. Might even use all 4 fingers. Kind of hard to tell there, but quite effective. And that's the pitch Brownie was talking about him working on and getting much better with.
2-0 to Marcus Semien, who's walked and he's grounded out to Altuve. That was a bases loaded out to end the Oakland second. Both teams have had opportunities with 3 men. Foul back, 2-1. So 90 pitches, and this probably is going to be the final inning for McCullers. Thatcher working in the pen. It's 3 balls and a strike. What?
Just looking at Jason Castro right there, like, what happened there? That was, the punch slips through the defense of Castro.
Yeah.
Look at him, look at him. What? Did you know that I called?
Fouled away, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Semien. Both teams are dealing with the loss of Jed Lowry, who played for Oakland last year, and he's been hurt for Houston after April this year.
Look at those pitch totals. After the 35-pitch second inning, he has been really good. 15 about the average per inning.
That's a shot fair into the left field corner. Extra bases here for Semien. And he will round second and hold up there as the ball comes back in from Tucker. A double for Semien, his 9th.
You know, he is a good-looking young major league hitter. Can the A's survive with him at shortstop, making the errors that he's been committing?
That's a really good question.
That's McCullers. Brought himself some heat, inner part of the plate, and that's a quick bat. You can see total cutoff swing right there, trying to get the barrel to it. Shortening the arms, especially the lead arm.
That's going to be it for the Major League debut of Lance McCullers Jr. A.J. Hinch has signaled to the bullpen for the lefty Joe Thatcher, who will be facing lefty hitting Josh Reddick. Quite a night for Lance McCullers Jr.
major league debut. He got 5 strikeouts tonight. Good slider for the first one. Fastball on the hands. The slider comes back to get Laurie. And then there was D. And when you talk D, you talk Chris Carter. Great diving play. Another couple of strikeouts mixed in. The changeup gets the last of the 5 on the evening for Lance McCullers. Very nice night. And now what you want to be able to do is keep him in the tie ball game as you finish this 5th.
Joe Thatcher comes in, and Joe Thatcher has not pitched since May 7th in Anaheim against the Angels. 11 days between appearances, facing Josh Reddick. And that breaking pitch comes in for strike 1. Reddick is 0 for 2. In 12 appearances, his ERA is 2.35. No runs allowed in 7 outings.
Wow, look how shallow George Springer is in right field on a powerful hitter here, Josh Reddick.
Yeah, he just moved before that last pitch.
I saw him dancing over that direction, but that's a pretty shallow spot there against Reddick.
Reddick has a lot of power. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reddick got jammed on that pitch up and in, fouled it away 1-2. Before the game yesterday in the Astros clubhouse, and their kids come in sometimes. Chad Qualls had his young son in there, and Joe Thatcher had his little boy in there. Yeah, he couldn't get the barrel on that one.
You know, you might just someday be talking about those kids back in the day, and now they're major leaguers.
Well,
it happens time and time again.
It does happen a lot. He's got the cutest little blonde-headed kid. And I was asking him today how old his son is, and he said he's not quite 2 yet. So this kid has the little teething ring in his mouth, and he's got a baseball in his hand, and his dad's sitting in front of his locker. And he draws back that ball and fires it right at his dad.
How's his slider?
It was pretty impressive stuff.
Probably last to be developed will be the changeup, but we'll wait.
Fouled away. Well, back in the day in Cincinnati, going through that clubhouse of the Big Red Machine, there was Pete Rose Jr., there was Ken Griffey Jr., there was Eduardo Perez, and yeah.
Wow.
Quite a group.
Kind of a who's who of players' kids, huh?
There were a lot of talented kids.
Did Junior wear an HOF uniform at that time?
No, he really didn't do that. Broken bat liner goes foul.
Soon to be member of the 600 home run club.
Yeah. Still 1-2 to Josh Reddick. Brewers lead the Tigers 3-2, bottom of the 8th at Detroit. Kyle Lobstein started for Brad Ausmus tonight, which means the Astros will be facing him in Detroit in the upcoming 4-game series starting Thursday. I believe David Price will pitch game 1. Reddick takes it, and it's a 2-2 count. The Astros bullpen, sensational this year. Has 11 wins, 2 losses, a 2.15 ERA. Best winning percentage in the American League, .844. Thatcher a big part of that. Billy Butler's on deck. Now 3-2. A long time between outings for Thatcher, who faced only the one batter when he came in against the Angels May 7th. Gave up a hit, but no runs.
For Joe Thatcher, if you don't get Josh Reddick, the left-hand hitter, you've lost that opportunity in the matchups you were trying to get, and then you turn it over to Billy Butler.
Good pitch coming for Thatcher here. And he gets a foul ball. When Thatcher came in that game 11 days ago, he faced Cole Calhoun, who had an RBI single to left off him. The run was not charged to him.
Josh Reddick's doing a really good job staying on the lefty stuff.
As Lance McCullers Jr. watches that run, his responsibility at second. It's Thatcher with the 10th pitch coming to Reddick. And he swings at it. It was ball 4, but instead it's strike 3. It's no runs a hit and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's tied at 1. Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Whataburger. You've never had a club sandwich quite like this. The Whataburger Honey Mustard What a Chicken Club, here for a limited time. It's a 1-1 game. The Astros coming up at the bottom of the 5th inning against Drew Pomeranz. Jose Altuve has a 29-game hitting streak against the Oakland A's. 0 for 1, hit by pitch tonight. He looks at ball 1. Lance McCullers in 4 2/3 innings. Allowed 3 hits, 1 run. Walking 3, fanning 5 in his major league debut. He threw 93 pitches, 54 for strikes. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. So with his 4 2/3 innings, he has the longest start for this spot in the Astros rotation. This is the 8th time through the rotation for this spot. Altuve with a shot to third. Laurie, 1 out. We took a look back at things, and Asher Wojciechowski opened the season. He pitched the 3rd game, but we're going to call it the number 4 starter because Colin McHugh clearly ranked ahead of that spot. So in 7 starts for the number 4 starters, they've combined for 28 2/3 innings, just 4.09 innings per start prior to tonight.
It's a bullpen killer is what that is. And of course the Astros bullpen has been great, so apparently they dodged the bullets.
Brett Oberholzer there has had 1 start in that spot. Jonathan VR, ball 1. And there are extenuating circumstances. He had a blister problem, so he came out after 3 innings the last time through this spot in the rotation. Brad Peacock had 1 start. He went 5 innings, and then he's been out with an injury ever since. Strained oblique. 2 balls, no strikes. Asher Wojciechowski went 4 innings in 3 different starts. Samuel Deduno, who came out of the long man spot in the bullpen, had a 4-inning start and a 4 2/3. The 4 2/3 tonight actually ties the longest by Deduno. So there are extenuating circumstances and reasons why those other pitchers were not allowed sometimes to go beyond that many pitches. And it's a ball to VR and a walk. So now the 4th walk of the night gives the Astros a speedy base runner. VR 3 for 3, and it's George Springer batting. He has 2 of those walks. And 3 trips to the disabled list from this particular spot in rotation as well. We believe that McCullers will get at least one more shot at starting. By that time, if things go well for Brett Oberholzer, he would be eligible to come back from the disabled list, and a decision would have to be made. That one almost hit Springer, and it's ball 1. Kurt Young will come out to the mound. Be a good matchup in Detroit this week, Ash, for you and Plummer and Julia. Tigers are 23 and 15 right now. Astros are 25 and 13.
No Dallas Keuchel in that series, and I find that a little intriguing. Of course, Dallas pitches tomorrow, or the final game Wednesday.
Tomorrow night it's Sonny Gray, who's the ERA leader in the American League at 1.61 against Roberto Hernandez. He's pitched well for Houston. And Dallas is second in ERA in the American League. He'll pitch Wednesday against Jesse Hunt.
Sonny Gray, Roberto Hernandez tomorrow night. 4-1 for Gray. He's been really good, and you see the ERA in that 1.5 range. So that's going to be a tough pitching matchup on paper, at least for the Astros to beat.
Well, on paper and the way Sonny Gray throws, probably on the field as well.
That said, Roberto Hernandez has done a heck of a job. 4.12 the ERA there. The whip is a good one.
Springer looks at it. It's 3-0 to George.
Pretty easy to say the 1-3 mark doesn't scream goodness at you, but he's been solid.
Sonny Gray is 25 years old. He's another of those outstanding young arms in the majors. He will be facing the Astros for the first time this season. Toss goes to first. So in some sense, you could say the Astros have been fortunate to miss a Sonny Gray in 2 different series with Oakland.
Don't try that little dance at home, by the way. You'll break your ankles, I assure you.
Big cut on 3-0 by Springer, and it's a 3-ball 1-strike count.
Well, if you're going to let it fly on that 3-0.
Edward Mujica is beginning to loosen for Oakland. 77 pitches for Pomeranz. Now 3-2.
90 miles an hour ahead in the count. Get the fastball and swing it through it. It's puzzling.
Last time out for Pomeranz. In 7 innings, he gave up 1 earned run. Got a win over Boston. He has not beaten Houston in his career. VR attracts a throw. Evan Gattis is on deck. Springer takes a walk, his 3rd. That's number 5 of the night for Pomeranz. Gattis will bat with 1 out and 2 men on. Five walks equaled his total in 4 starts in April. He did walk 5 2 starts ago at Minnesota. Gattis has a sac fly, and he's bounced into a double play. Each club has 5 men left on base. Preston Tucker on deck. Check swing, foul. There is strike one. Well, Dan Jennings took over today as the skipper of the Miami Marlins. In his first game tonight, they're tied with the Diamondbacks 2-2 at the end of 12 in Miami.
Jack McKeon was busy with the local softball job.
How about bringing Ozzie Guillen back?
Oh, you've been so hopeful about that. Let it go.
Oh, shucks. VR attracts some attention. He's still making money from the Miami Marlins.
The old-fashioned way, or
he's on the payroll.
Yeah. I think he wears Marlin colors everywhere he goes now.
Jennings has not managed since the mid-'80s. He's been in player personnel scouting. Gaddis looks at it. It's one of them.
What leads to the notions? Okay, what about this guy?
Yeah. Jennings was coaching in high school. So that led to a lot of questions about the credibility that he might or might not have as a major league manager.
Well, that explains it.
Gaddis looks at it. It's a ball to make it 2-1.
PR was dancing, and had he kept going, he might have had a pretty good opportunity to steal third base.
Yes, he was. He bears watching. If you're Pomeranz with Tucker on deck. Ruby De La Rosa went 9 innings for Arizona tonight, gave up 2 runs. The game now goes to the 13th, tied 2-2. Dan Herron had a good 8-inning start for the Marlins, giving up 2 runs himself. How about Giancarlo Stanton? How do you think he feels with the contract he signed? Now Bob Melvin and a trainer are coming out to visit Pomeranz with a count 2-1 and 1 out.
Well, I guess Giancarlo Stanton is not disappointed in his buying power these days, but yeah, I think a lot of folks thought with that kind of money spent that the Marlins would find a way to be in a position to be a much better club. Again, it's still early, but I'm not sure they're going to find their way.
Well, that's going to do it for Pomeranz. So an apparent injury will force him from this game. And Evan Gaddis will be facing a different pitcher. Mujica has been warming up, and because of what we feel is an injury, he will get all the warm-ups he needs, but he may not require too many because he has been throwing for a while. The score is Oakland 1, Houston 1 in the 5th. 2 on, 1 out. Back in a moment.
The box score as we take a look at league leading home run versus K, along with the K's. St. Louis in different eras, or steals, excuse me. Home runs, Yankees of 38, 174. See what the Reds did, the big red machine. The Astros this year, much better pace. Strikeouts, the Astros clearly outpacing the other two. And in stolen bases, it was all about the Reds. Joe Morgan was the big man on the base paths at that time, but you can see some similarities, and you wouldn't mind talking similarities come the end of the season. Yankees, Reds, Astros.
Yankees and Reds both won World Series in those 2 years, but how the strikeout numbers have increased down through the years. 902 was the most in the National League in '76. Now Edward Mujica, who was with the Red Sox, has joined this Oakland club, and in 14 games he's 1-1 with a 3.78 ERA. He inherits a 2-1 count on Gaddis with 1 out and 2 men on. Mujica was acquired May 9th with cash considerations for a player to be named later, or cash considerations. He's pitched 3 times for the A's, has not given up a run in 3 innings, giving up 3 hits and striking out 2. He gets strike 2, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Evan Gaddis was ready for that pitch. Hope the frenzied pace of this game doesn't change.
Well, as long as the strike zone doesn't, it may not.
You're right. That could be a big part of things.
Mujica just turned 31. Ground ball in the hole short, backhanded. Semien goes to third and makes the play right in front of him, forcing VR for out number 2.
Alert play by the third baseman. Brett Laurie gets to the bag, and it makes for an easy force. Once you go that direction, you're giving up any shot at 2. But there was likely no shot there anyway.
Preston Tucker will get an at bat with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Short throw once he picked that one up. Semien takes care of the second out with Laurie on the receiving end. Now it's Tucker. Tucker beat out an infield hit to first in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. Carter on deck. And there's strike 1. Mujica went to the changeup on him. Mujica had been designated for assignment by Boston, and he was traded a day later. He has the best strikeout to walk ratio in modern history. 82 walks, 393 strikeouts for his career coming into this season. 1-1.
Well, you can see one pitch. He certainly relies on the changeup. The last 2 pitches there. On the previous one, Tucker out in front.
He faced the Astros twice last year when he was with Boston. He gave up 1 run in 1 inning. Mujica signed with Cleveland in '01 as a free agent. He's from Venezuela. He was with the Cardinals in 2013. He was an all-star and saved 37 games. Fouled, and it's 1-2 to Preston Tucker. Indians won, White Sox won, top of the 9th at U.S. Cellular. Corey Kluber has 11 strikeouts in 8 innings for Cleveland. Chris Sale went 8 for the White Sox. He also gave up 1 run. He whiffed 7. Changeup got him on strikes. That ends the 5th inning. No runs, no hits. A couple of men left. After 5, it's tied at 1.
the deal of the season with Coca-Cola Double Play Tuesdays. Receive 2 View Deck 2 tickets for only $22 or 2 Outfield Deck 2 tickets for only $5 for tomorrow's game versus the A's. Tickets can be purchased at Minute Maid Park box office. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. Will Harris warming up in the Houston bullpen. Joe Thatcher comes back out for the 6th inning for a lefty on righty matchup as the race took place there. It's Billy Butler leading it off. Butler's 0 for 2. And ball 1 for Thatcher. McCullers went 4 2/3, allowing 3 hits and 1 run. Thatcher came in and struck out Reddick. So another inherited runner was stranded by the Astros bullpen. In for a strike, and it's 1-1. Lefty hitting Stephen Vogt is due up next. So it would appear that Thatcher will stay in to face Vogt. He gets a swing from Butler. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Butler left that Kansas City club. The Royals realized, despite his long history with them, they could not afford him. But they have not missed a beat without Butler offensively this year. He hits a shot off the glove of Villar and on through to left field. That ball hit hard. Villar went down on a knee, tried to pick it cleanly, and it was off his glove for a 5-game hitting streak for Butler.
By the way, why do they call third base the hot corner?
This is why. Too hot to handle.
Very, very tough play. And you get down there, you try to stay low with it. I like the way Villar approached the play, just wasn't able to pull it off.
Oh, it's an error.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
I have a feeling there will be some complaints heard there.
Stephen Vogt is the batter. He's 0 for 2. There's ball 1.
I think I'm going to keep my score sheet with a single there.
Back in your day, the procedure would be that probably the hitting coach would call up to the press box.
Yep.
And ask that the official scorer take another look at that play. That is no longer the procedure. Now the player's agent has to file a request for the play to be reviewed.
I'm going to go ahead and assume the request has already been filed. Is it Joe Torre who eventually looks at the video?
That's been the case in the past.
Well, I don't see Joe as a guy who played some third base viewing that as an E5.
And as a guy who hit and felt that when he hit the ball like that,
yeah,
should be credited.
Joe. Come on, Joe.
3-0 now to Vogt. But Muncy on deck, another left-hand batter. A.J. Hinch trying to get more than just a 1-batter mileage out of Thatcher tonight. It's in for a strike, and it's 3-1. Thatcher's been extremely durable down through the years. Joe, the type of pitcher who can go 60, 70 times a season. Had 53 outings last year. There's a walk, and the first 2 have reached here in the 6th inning. That's the 4th walk for Astros pitchers. There have been 5 by Oakland pitchers. Muncy has doubled and flied to left. Villar's in tied at third base. Thatcher began his career with an independent team in the Frontier League, River City, in 2004. And he was picked up by Milwaukee, traded to San Diego. Another deal sent him to Arizona. Then he became an Angel. The Astros signed him in February as a free agent. Joe's had more than 370 appearances for his career. Once he looks at it, and it's strike 1. Thatcher coming inside to get that call. The Astros relievers have been an ongoing reason for this team's 25-13 record. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes.
It's past that point, but I wouldn't have been surprised to see Max Muncy with the assignment of laying down a bunt here in the 6th.
Lefty on lefty. Tough arm angle for the pitcher. Brett Lawrie will be next. Unless Muncy hits into a triple play.
Have we heard of one this year?
Yeah, there was one.
There was one
last week. Yep. Pirates. 1 and 2. It was runners at second and third, and there was a line drive up the middle. It was caught by the Pirates' second sacker.
That would be
Neil Walker.
That Lind kid? Lind?
Neil Walker. Yeah. Jose Lind. Yeah.
Jose Lind.
So Walker caught it through to third, and then they threw back to second. He got the triple play. And the odd thing was the way they did it, because it would have been much easier for him to run over and tag second.
Right here, Joe. Come on, Joe.
But we threw to third first because that needed an immediate thrower. They wouldn't have gotten that out there because that runner had not strayed as far from the bag as the runner at second, who was Hayward, Jason Hayward, who had gone almost all the way to third base. It was the first 4-5-4 triple play in Major League history. Wow. Three balls, 2 strikes.
You guys would know that. Just bust me right out of the water.
Well, it was pretty well publicized at the time. But you don't care about things like that.
That you are remarkable? Yes.
No,
absolutely.
No. That was the first triple play. Popped out of Castro's mitt, almost a strikeout. But Muncy just stays alive.
How many triple plays would you see in a typical Major League season?
From one team or different?
No, throughout the
whole season.
30 teams.
Boots is saying 3 or 4. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, I would think that would be a high number too.
We haven't had. The Astros have not averaged 1 triple play per season in their history, have they?
Probably sure don't think so.
No. 3-2 pitches, ball 4. Now bases loaded, nobody out. And this is a real pickle for the Astros.
Well, that was a good looking at bat for the youngster Muncy.
Yeah. And he was almost out, but Castro was unable to hold that foul. Now A.J. Hinch will have to make a move with Brett Lawrie coming up next. And what a jam this will be for Will Harris. Joe Thatcher leaving in a 1-1 game. 3 men on, nobody out. Back in a moment.
of the game. Oh, he's excited too. We've got one. I love it. Gina and Daisy, they're taking advantage of these $20 seats right now, the 1986 seats on this lower level. What do you think of Lance McCullers? You got to be here for his major league debut.
Yeah, that was awesome. He was pitching great. I wish he would have gone a little bit longer, but hey, that's good when you come up like that.
That's good stuff. And who's your favorite player and why?
Oh, I love Altuve. Who doesn't? Hey, that's the start of the Astros right here, man. They're going to win the season.
You guys have a great time. Here is your goodie bag with all kinds of stuff. Progressive fan of the game. Guys, back up to you.
Thanks, Julia. Here's Will Harris. Bases loaded, nobody out, throwing ball one to Brett Laurie. Laurie is 0 for 2 in this game. So a real dilemma here for the Astros. Oakland putting 3 men on. And now Laurie gets this bases loaded opportunity to try to snap the 1-1 tie. Takes, and that one is called high for a 2-ball no strike count. Harris has had a couple days rest.
Strike zone's not working for me tonight. That's the high end. And allegedly these home plate umpires are being shown video of this every time they work behind the plate.
Swing there, takes the count to 2-1 on Laurie. Harris had a spotless inning in the 8-4 win Friday night, throwing just 9 pitches. His control has been extremely good this year. He inherited 2 runners with nobody out, and he got out of that. This one is quite an escape act if any pitcher can get out of bases loaded. Nobody out trouble. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Start out with a little one hopper right back to the mound. Get yourself a double play, 1, 2, 3, and then sit him down quickly after that.
Ooh, that's a formula. It's Butler at third, Vogt at second, Muncy at first. Ground ball third, foul.
No, you almost have the formula right there. That semi-sharply hit ground ball right at the bag at third. Big triple play formula.
Well, Ken Caminetti turned one once upon a time. Morgan Ensberg had one of those. Third baseman is thinking, hey, if the ball's hit to my right and it leads me to the bag, then we can turn 3. It's hit sharply. Punched on a line into right field. That'll score the go-ahead run. Butler, and it's 2-1 Oakland. RBI single by Brett Laurie. And Sam Fuld will bat with 3 men on next.
You don't want to be forced to tip your cap, as they say, to the opposition a whole lot of times over the course of the year. But right here, feel free, because Brett Laurie did a whale of a job. George Springer makes sure that only 1 run scores on the play.
That turns it over to Sam Fuld, who has walked and grounded Chris Carter with a diving stop to get him to the pitcher McCullers covering in the 4th. Strike 1 for Will Harris. Coming into this game, the Astros relievers had inherited 41 runners, allowing only 13 to score. Eric Sogard is on deck. That misses, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Oakland bullpen has been problematic for Bob Melvin. 2-12 with a 5.06 ERA, 4 saves and 12 save opportunities. And their closer is still injured, Sean Doolittle. And the main objective here for Will Harris is to prevent Oakland from blowing this game open.
Watching Muncy, the runner at second base, to see if he is taking a steady look at the signals. He is not.
Outside for a ball, make it 2-1. A.J. Hinch's club got a run in the first. And has been frustrated offensively, leaving 2 men on base in the third, fourth, and fifth innings each. Now Oakland cashing in to grab the lead. Chop back to Harris. He'll come home for the force play. Castro to first. Safe there. And Sogard will bat with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Sam Folden looked like Jose Altuve going down the line right there. Just immediately got out of the box and thwarted any effort for that double play, because that was a nice little setup, generally speaking, for the double play.
Yeah.
Really, Jason Castro, as the middleman, did all he could do, but not even close.
Now Sogard, who drove in the first Oakland run with a single to right field, is 1 for 3. Now it's Muncy at third, Laurie at second, and Fuld at first. 2 runs on 5 hits for Oakland, 1 run on 2 hits for Houston. And there's ball 1. The Astros have come from behind 12 times to win this year of their 25 victories. And they have a chance to do it again. Foul back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Look at the comparison of the 2 bullpens. A stark comparison here, Ash.
11 wins for the Astros versus 2 1-run games, 10-2. That's spectacular. Of course, the A's are really scuffling their comeback wins. You see the 12 for Houston. Last at bat wins 7-0 in this team-to-team matchup. The Astros, when you see that kind of a set of numbers, and you won't see it very often, but you're looking at a team that's doing very well.
One floats high, and it's a 2-ball 1 strike count for Will Harris. Will had a streak of 26 straight scoreless appearances, but it's the runners inherited he's concerned with here. Oakland as a team is hitting .278 with runners in scoring position, and is third in the league in runs scored. Now it's 3-1, and typically down through the years the A's have worked counts and drawn a lot of walks. There's been a scoring change on Billy Butler's hot ground ball to third opening the inning. It's been changed from an error on VR to a hit for Butler. That gives him a 5-game hitting streak. And for a strike, 3-2.
Yeah, you can't have any more freebies right now.
Very big pitch coming in this game. Coco Crisp is on deck. Ground ball first. Carter steps on the back, throws home, and there's the tag, and it's a 3-2 double play. Very well done by Carter, Ash.
How about that play defensively? You don't see that very often. Chris Carter, not a natural first baseman, but he makes it beautifully.
And it's 1-run scoring on 2 hits. Carter gets the out at first, and then there's a tag play at the plate for Castro.
Well, a little bit about Chris Carter, who just made that great play to end the inning there. And favorite player growing up, Ken Griffey Jr. Favorite restaurant, El Tiempo, delicious. Favorite cereal, Lucky Charms, guys.
Ooh. Thanks, Julia. Here's Carter batting now after starting that double play. Strike one to Chris. He's fouled out to the catcher and he's walked.
Takes a full-grown man to say that Lucky Charms are his favorite cereal.
Who's going to tell him not to eat them?
I thought the assignment was yours.
No thank you, pal. Infield overshifted. First baseman is almost 1/3 of the way, if not more, towards second.
Lucky Charms are magically delicious, and they play some furious defense at first.
Well, that was a good decision on his part.
It was.
To get the out at first and then throw home, and then he had to execute the throw.
See, his foot slipped over the back of that
Yes.
left foot, and it could have caused a poor throw, but didn't.
Josh Fields is warming up for Houston. You were asking about triple plays?
Yes.
Phil Boudreau has done some quick research. There's been one triple play in the majors so far this year. There were 6 last year.
6 in one season.
In 2013, there was 1. 3 balls and strikes. So the last 10 years, there have been an average of 3.5 per season in the majors.
I would not have guessed that high. I guess 2 to 3 might have been my guess, but.
Carter looks at it. It's another ball to him. And 3-2 now for Mujica. Drew Pomeranz cannot be the winning pitcher because the starter failed to go 5. He went 4 1/3, giving up 2 hits and 1 run with 5 walks, striking out 2. Mujica could be that winning pitcher. He has a leadoff walk to Carter.
Tonight's T-Mobile game changer is look no further than Chris Carter in the double play. He gets started. Bases loaded. It's already a run up for the A's, but Carter steps in and makes this gem. And from that angle, you really couldn't see. Watch the foot slip and slide right off the bag, and yet perfect throw from Carter. That could be genuinely the play in this ballgame that you look back at and say that's where it turned.
Now it's Marwin Gonzalez. He put down a sac bunt in the 4th after striking out in the 2nd inning. Astros on deck. That's ball 1. Joe Thatcher in 1/3 of an inning allowed 1 hit, 1 run. He had 2 walks and 1 strikeout. Phillies lead the Rockies 4-1 on the top of the 6th at Coors Field. That's Cole Hamels for Philadelphia and Jordan Lyles for Colorado. It's 1-1. Oakland has out hit Houston 5-2 so far. It's been a problem for the A's getting to closer Tyler Clippard. And this Oakland bullpen has surrendered 15 home runs this season.
Between the 2 pitching staffs tonight, already 11 walks issued.
Is that your idea of a rollicking good time?
I think that's the reason for the frenetic pace, though.
Yeah.
Or a reason. I actually consider that double play a little more exciting than all these walks.
Well, it's nice when the ball's in play.
As a group or individually.
Yeah. 1-2. Josh Fields warming up. Mujica had a nice year last year for Boston. He got a chance to do some closing, and he was 8 for 9 in saves.
Got a really good changeup. Very effective on the hitters.
Marwin bounces. Mujica throws. There's Semi in the middle man on a 1-6-3 double play.
That was that pitch again, and it left Marwin out in front and just tapping the one hopper that sets up the easy double play. what this changeup does to a hitter. Just comes out soft, good arm speed, way out in front, and you just roll at it. And it's exactly what Mujica would have most hoped for right there.
Some of Castro's kids. There's strike one. He's 0 for 2 in this game. A strikeout and a foul out to the first baseman.
That's some of the kids touting the merits of the breath mint certs. Stop, you're both right.
Castro swings at it. It's 0-2.
I've seen more powerful swings from Jason than that one.
Yes, you have.
He's got some visual images of that one right now. Not exactly sugar plums dancing in your head.
Milwaukee beat Detroit 3-2 at Comerica Park. Yes, he visited their school. It's payback time. Cheering him on, but he strikes out, and that's the 6th inning. 2-1 Oakland. May 18th, 2004. Randy Johnson becomes the oldest pitcher to complete a perfect game as the D-backs beat the Braves 2-0. The big unit joins Cy Young, Jim Bunning, Hideo Nomo, and Nolan Ryan as the only pitchers to throw no-hitters in both leagues, and creates the longest time span between no-nos, having thrown his first no-hitter in June of 1990. 14 years later, a perfect game.
There's a guy that I think every player that tried to hit against him would have said he's destined to throw one at some point. About as tough as they came.
Josh Fields is 2-0 with a 1.13 ERA in 8 innings of work. Good career numbers against Oakland. He takes over here in the 7th. The paid attendance tonight is 21,724. Coco Crisp to lead it off. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Bouncing that one foul. Strike one. Will Harris in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, no runs. With no walks, no strikeouts. Fields is pitcher number 4 for A.J. Hinch tonight. The starter Lance McCullers Jr. making his major league debut. Went 4 2/3, giving up 1 run. Fields open on the disabled list with a groin injury from spring training. His first appearance was in Oakland, April 25th. That's in for a strike. Evan Scribner is warming up for Oakland. 0-2 for Fields.
I think Jordan Baker just got the message on that high strike.
That was a foul tip strikeout on Crisp. One down.
You want so much to argue. No, I didn't. But you know that everybody could hear it there. You're just dead meat at that point.
Fields has started this year with a nice strikeout rate. That's his 14th punch out in his 9th inning. Semien has a double in 3 trips and also a walk. Fouling that one back to strike 1 on Semien. In the Brewers 3-2 win over the Tigers in Detroit, Jeremy Jeffress was the winning pitcher in relief. K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, got his 8th save. Kyle Lobstein lost it. He's 3 and 4. Shortening up, Semien takes a strike, and it's 0-2. So those in the Astros rotation who will be working that Detroit series are turning their attention to a hard-hitting ball club. Anthony Gose has been leading off for the Tigers. He's hitting .336. Ian Kinsler batting second. He's at .318. Miguel Cabrera sports a .333 batting average, and so on down the line. The challenges are numerous with the Tiger hitters. 1-2. Victor Martinez is hitting .216, struggling to come back from knee surgery. Struck him out. It's 2 in a row for Fields. 400th career homer from Miguel Cabrera.
A lot of people would say best hitter in the game. Let's just go central. Some kind of hitter. You know, when you see teammates exult like that, you know they love him and have great respect.
Josh Reddick bats. He looks at strike 1. He's 0 for 3. Carlos Gomez hit a home run for Milwaukee. So did Aramis Ramirez. Fly ball goes out toward George Springer in right center. Good 1-2-3 7th for Josh Fields. 2-1 Oakland.
Office and see a ball game at Minute Maid Park with the Astros 9-inning lunch break this Wednesday at 1:10 p.m. Purchase your tickets today by visiting astros.com/lunch break or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys, the Astros hoping to come from behind once again. George Springer, talking with the media today, addressed this very thing, said this is just a team that believes whether we're down 2 or 5 runs, it doesn't matter. We just keep grinding. We just keep encouraging each other in the dugout. We have that confidence about us that feels like we can come back at any time.
And we'll see what the night brings, Julia. Thank you for that. Marisnik, Altuve, Villar due up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Evan Scribner has taken over on the mound for Oakland with the 2-1 lead. A.J. Hinch, Trey Hillman, the bench coach, look things over for the Astros. Marisnik is 1 for 2. Here is Scribner coming in with a struggling season underway for 19 games. It's been dicey with him in the late innings this year, actually.
Yeah, that whip would say it's been hard to get men on base, but Astros are going to have to find a way to get that done and get them home.
Luis Valbuena homered off him back on the 15th of April here. But he's had 2 other effective relief appearances against the Astros. 29-year-old right-hander from New Milford, Connecticut. He went to Central Connecticut State. Marisnik got a ground ball hit in the hole at shortstop in the 3rd inning. Here's ball 1. Brett Laurie even with the bag at 3rd. Edward Mujica in 1 2/3 innings allowed no hits, no runs, walking 1, fanning 2. He could be the winning pitcher. It's 1-1. Scribner has allowed just 2 runs in his first 14 games. But the last 5 outings, he's given up 4 earned runs. 1 and 2 for an 8.31 ERA in those. He's right there at the top of the charts, though, in appearances by American League relievers. 4th in strikeouts and 5th in innings pitched. Foul ball keeps the count at 1 and 2. Last year, Scribner was with AAA. Most of the year. Sacramento is the AAA affiliate of Oakland. Has a brother in the Astros farm system. He strikes out Marisnik, 1 down. 5th punch out for Oakland pitching tonight. Jose Altuve is the batter. He's 0 for 2 and was hit by a pitch. Altuve trying to extend his personal hitting streak against the A's to 30. Also try to stir up some trouble. The Astros have been held to just 2 singles, both of them infield hits. Strike 1 to Altuve. VR's on deck. Breaking pitch in the dirt makes it 1-1 to Altuve. That's a tough pitch. 1-2. Pomeranz left the game with tightness in his shoulder.
Yeah, that's good layoff right there.
Ground ball to Semien at short. He throws to first and just nips Altuve. 2 outs.
I'm not sure if I recall Altuve last year getting into a little stretch like this of rolling ground balls over on the left side.
VR put down a sac bunt in the first. That led to a run. And he bounced into a forced play and he walked. George Springer's on deck. Astros bats were very effective in that 4-game sweep of Toronto tonight. They've been quiet. That's ball 1. They have drawn 6 walks to go with the 2 infield hits. That one came up and hit VR. 1-1, but they have stranded 7 runners tonight.
Yeah, early chances, and really kind of landed on Evan Gattis early in the ball game. Had some runners aboard for him, but 1 big swing with a man on base.
They've hit into 2 double plays, including that one Gattis grounded into in the 3rd inning. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Johnny, come on.
2-2 on the foul tip by VR. The Astros 16-10 in divisional play. The A's are 10-16. That's strike 3, and in the 7th inning, Scribner is very effective. 2-1 Oakland through 7.
On the hill. It already struck out Coco Crisp, and then Marcus Semien, the young shortstop, stood in, had an 0-2 count quickly, and then is that up the ladder effort to get him, and then goes up the ladder but within the strike zone to punch him out. A couple of strikeouts in one very effective inning for Josh Fields.
2-1 ball game. These fans hoping Houston can do the comeback thing in the bottom of the 8th inning, or maybe bottom of the 9th inning, trailing by 1. It's been a bullpen which has kept it close, and now Jake Buchanan making his season debut with the Astros after being recalled Thursday from AAA Fresno. Had been mostly a starter there, where he was 3-1 with an ERA above 5.
Not a hard thrower, but generally a strike thrower, and had some effective times last year,
including a couple of starts. There's Billy Butler with ball 1. Butler got the infield hit off the glove of VR and came around to score the go-ahead run in the 6th. He's 1 for 3. Buchanan, 25 years old, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Line drive up the right field line into the corner. Butler will get extra bases. Springer has to go deep in the corner to dig it out on a double by Butler, his 8th of the year.
There is something just so gorgeous about a hitter staying on the baseball and lining it the other way, and this is about as pretty as it gets. Pitch down and away. Stay on it and shoot it that way. A mistake that so many hitters make at times is getting out in front and rolling over that, and the weak ground ball results on the left side.
It's hit number 6 for Oakland. Butler with 8 doubles. That's the 2nd double, or the 3rd double of the night for Oakland. And it's Stephen Vogt. Vogt is 0 for 2 with a walk. Muncy's on deck. Buchanan, an 8th round draft choice in 2010 by the Astros, appeared in 17 games for Houston last year, 2 as a starter with a 4.58 ERA. In 2011, he was the Astros minor league pitcher of the year. There's strike 1. That year he had a 3.91 ERA at Lancaster, which is saying something in that ballpark. Foul ball by Vogt. He falls behind 0-2 in the count. Buchanan has been an extreme ground ball pitcher. He's now the long man in the bullpen, with Samuel Deduno having been placed on the 15-day disabled list earlier today. That one goes foul. And A.J. Hinch explained when asked about Deduno being put on the DL that, you know, he's not really hurting that much, but they just have to have somebody available every night in that role, and they just weren't sure that he would be available. Springer, Gaddis, and Tucker due up in the bottom of this inning. And tied, and it's 1-2. So the leadoff double by Butler gives the A's an opportunity to pad their lead. Cardinals and Mets are in the bottom of the 13th, still tied at 1. That little chop goes foul. Still a 1-2 count. Back in 1969, the Miracle Mets made it to the World Series. You know what they did to Baltimore. They won it all. Very low expectations going into that season. The Astros were a contending team that year as well into early September.
Bigger surprise that year, Mets winning it or man on the moon?
Ooh. 2-2. Couldn't answer that. Bood says the '69 Mets hit .242 as a team, Ash.
Which means the Astros have to improve by 13 points right now to get there.
Polk toward third. VR gets in front of it, checks the runner, and throws to first. Good on. 1 out. I think VR is more fundamentally sound this year. And that play would illustrate it.
We saw Trey Hillman out working with him and actually showing him exactly what he wanted to see in terms of footwork and the way the body approaches, especially the throws as he sets up. And he's a lot more consistent. I agree.
Taking more time, which he did there.
He's got plenty of arm, and he's got foot speed. Might be a little bigger man than he was when he first came to the big leagues. I'm not sure he's quite as fast.
Most of us are, Ash.
Well, it happens.
Once he looks at strike one. Not necessarily by design, but it does happen. Muncy has a double and a walk tonight. The players and coaches and managers talk about players having an internal clock in their heads, and that's part of it with VR, it seems, is taking more time because he has more time.
Mine always runs late.
1-1. You're not the only one, pal. Just make sure you're here at 7:10.
Amen to that one. Traffic could be a problem.
2 balls and a strike. Wednesday, though, it's a 1:10 start. So those of you who have an opportunity to take a lunch hour, play hooky for the afternoon, might enjoy coming out for the finale of the homestand. Dallas Keuchel's pitching against Jesse Hahn. Dallas 5-0 with a 1.87 ERA. Strike, and it's 2-2. The Astros will be gone for a week. They have a 4-game set in Detroit and 3 in Baltimore. With all those day games you talked about.
It's going to be golf shirts galore.
Now a full count for Jake Buchanan, pitcher number 5 for the Astros tonight. Phillies 4, Colorado 1, top of the 8th at Coors Field. Paul Hamels got the start tonight for the Phils. They have shown some signs of life recently. Chop slowly. Marwin Gonzalez over. 2 outs, Butler to third. And it's Brett Lawrie coming up. Hamels has worked 7 innings of 6-hit 1-run baseball tonight at Colorado. Jordan Lyles gave up 4 earned runs in 6 for the Rockies. So, truth or fiction, Cole Hamels will be traded this year by the Phillies.
Truth. You believe it, right?
Yep. Inside ball one. The issue with Hamels and evidently Troy Tulowitzki is not an issue anymore, but the players who are under multi-year and top dollar contracts, $25–30 million a year, is getting prospects in return for a team picking up that much payroll. That's going to be hard.
And you're seeing more and more teams not picking up the entire contracts, and in some cases, small portions of it.
Right. So in a lot of cases, if you're the Phillies, Ruben Amaro Jr., do you want prospects? Then you pick up part of the salary, usually, right? You pay for the prospect.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think any team that's trading for one of these high-priced players would be crazy not to get as much as they can get in terms of prospects, realizing they're going to spend some money.
And that's the thing. The Phillies need prospects, so they really would emphasize that more than probably a team picking up the entire salary. That one almost clipped him. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Laurie.
It's the dangers of the game today when you feel like you've got to go out and you see the breaking ball that doesn't break here. Nice job by Castro. But you've got to sign players, if for nothing else, for the perception for your fans to feel like you're doing all you can to win, and then the big contracts will eat you in the end.
Pass the pitcher Buchanan out to Altuve. Guns it over to first. Had to put something on that throw to get Laurie. Leadoff double, but no runs, 1 hit. 1 man stranded at third. Still 2-1 Oakland in the 8th.
MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay, reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet.
Bob Melvin is trying to squeeze more than 1 inning out of Evan Scribner. He had a 1-2-3 7th. He faces George Springer here in the home 8th inning, leading 2-1. Springer has drawn 3 walks and 3 plate appearances tonight, and looks at ball 1. His troublesome Oakland bullpen has been fine tonight. Edward Mujica worked an inning in 2/3, gave up just a walk and struck out 2. Scribner powers it in for a strike at 90. 1-1 to Springer with Gaddis and Tucker to follow, and the Houston 8th. That's strike 2.
sometimes I wonder when I see a guy start to draw some walks if he's going to react and get the good swing on pitches in the strike zone. And right now, George has been frozen.
In the last 10 games, the A's relievers have 4 losses and 3 blown saves. Springer fouls it. Zach Duke was the winner as the White Sox took it to the 10th inning and beat Cleveland tonight 2-1. Zach McAllister the loser. Now it's ball 2 to Springer, 2-2. The Indians are now 14-23 while the White Sox go a game above 500. Spins him around. It's a full count to George. To center field, way back. Sam Fuld up on Towles Hill, up against the wall. A tremendous catch by Sam Fuld. That is a spectacular play by Sam Fuld up on the hill.
What do you say? I mean, that's just wow. And you can see the look on George Springer's face. I actually was having a conversation with George the other day about this spacious center field. Let's just say he's not going to be happy at this moment. That's for sure. That's just a bomb and way out of most ballparks. All other ballparks. But not here.
1 out and it's Evan Gattis. Gattis is 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Great catch by Fuld. Strike.
That was not the smile of happiness, by the way, for George Springer.
He crushed that one. And Fuld went right to that spot in front of the wall and caught it. Ground ball third. Laurie. 2 outs. Oh, a play like that can go a long way for a struggling team like Oakland.
I actually kind of curious at the start of play tonight about Coco Crisp playing in left field and Sam Fuld still out there in center, but I guess I got a main course answer right there.
Emphatic answer. Now vote out to talk it over with Scribner, who has retired 5 in a row thanks to his buddy Fuld in center field. Tucker's 1 for 3. He beat out a grounder to first. Tyler Clippard, the closer, is at work in the bullpen for Oakland. Chris Carter's on deck. Infield playing Tucker to pull. Strike 1 to Preston.
Yeah, it's a really intriguing ballpark here in Houston. We're hearing that the home run by Luis Valbuena the other day to left field to the Crawford boxes would not have been a home run in any other ballpark in the major leagues, according to Stat Tracker or whatever. And then this drive by George Springer to center field is out of any other yard. And so it gives and takes, obviously.
Boy, he hit that ball hard. Up the middle, back to the pitcher, Scribner. He has 2 perfect innings, and Oakland has a 2-1 lead through 8. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 2-1, Oakland leading. The ninth inning arrives. The closer for the A's, Tyler Clippard, has been warming up. Sam Fuld leads it off in the ninth. He is 0 for 2 with a walk, and he looks ahead, ball 1. Second frame for Jake Buchanan, pitcher number 5 for A.J. Hinch. Bouncer and the shortstop Marwin Gonzalez turns it into out number 1. Eric Sogard will follow. The Astros will have Carter, Gonzalez, and Castro due up in the bottom of the ninth. Diamondbacks got a run in the 13th, and they beat the Marlins in Miami 3-2. And Dan Jennings' first game as the Marlins skipper. The winner was Reed, and the loser was Cishek. Strike to Sogard, who drove in the first Oakland run with a single to right in the second inning. He's 1 for 4. Brett Laurie drove in the go-ahead run in the 6th. No balls, 2 strikes for Buchanan. Marisnick shades toward left center field. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eric Sogard. Tip strikeout, 2 down. Buchanan gave up a leadoff double to Butler in the 8th inning, but he's retired 5 in a row since then.
Off speed gets him right over the top with that yanker. A couple of times Sogard going down on strikes tonight, but he had the big hit back in the second inning.
Crisp is 0 for 3 with a walk. Buchanan deals, and it's strike 1. He's into a nice quick rhythm. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's 2-1. The Astros, with their 4-game sweep over Toronto, made that their first home 4-game sweep since 2009. They have a 5-game winning streak. Cole, and Carter's there to pick it. Short hop play by Carter, has played well with the glove tonight. He will be leading it off in the bottom of the ninth. 2-1 Athletics.
Astros score 5 runs in the 10th inning and the 11th. Marwin had the big hit, and that came in the 10th. Springer gets an RBI hit in the 11th. The Astros win 5-4. And then on the 26th, Evan Gattis. You remember this one, don't you? The tomahawk chop as he lined a big double to center field. 2-run came in on the play. It came with 2 outs in the 9th inning. The Astros beat the A's 7-6 and swept the series. And that was probably a huge turnaround point for these Houston Astros.
Rally cap is on. The Astros come up in the bottom of the 9th against the Oakland closer, Tyler Clippard. Clippard is 3 for 4 in saves. He's 0-2 with an ERA of 2.65. Filling in with Sean Doolittle out with an injury. Clippard has been the man. But yesterday he allowed a 2-run homer. That snapped the scoreless streak of 6 games, covering 7 2/3 innings. Carter has walked twice after fouling out to the catcher. Scribner was perfect in 2 innings. It's been a 2-hitter by 4 Oakland pitchers, both hits infield hits. And that's ball 1 to Carter. Astros have been facing Clippard since the 09 season. He's 30 years old. The Yankees drafted him, traded him to Washington. Has a good off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last 5 years, he's led the majors in innings pitched without making a start, almost 400 coming into this season. 4th appearance against the Astros. Foul ball. And you saw the Gattis 2-run double earlier. That tagged Clippard with a blown save. That was in the 8th inning. When he came in with a 6-5 lead and 2 men on, he got out of that. But then Gattis later delivered the game winner. Astros took it 7-6.
Kind of intriguing numbers against the Astros this year. 3 1/3 innings, 5 strikeouts. But the 2 runs you talk about on 4 hits.
There's a punch out, 1 out. Colby Rasmus will be the pinch hitter for Marwin Gonzalez. Went deep yesterday against his former club, the Toronto Blue Jays, in the 6th inning off Mark Burley. Colby with 7 bombs has driven in 14 runs with a .236 batting average. He's had 110 at bats. As a pinch hitter, he has not had an at bat this season. Castro's on deck. Gonzalez was 0 for 2 with a sac bunt. Drive to right field by Colby. Reddick. 2 outs for Clippard.
Time now for the Whataburger. What a play, and what a play it was. George Springer would not applaud that, but that drive and the great play by Sam Fuld. And George just cannot believe he can hit a ball that hard, that far, and have it remain in the park, and then see it caught.
Jason Castro's 0 for 3. Orisnik on deck. Castro looks at it. It's strike 1 for Clippard. The Astros have been 1 hit twice this year. They have 2 hits tonight. The A's trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. They've dropped 10 of 11. Astros out in front of the off-speed pitch. That makes it 0-2. ball, 2 strikes. Houston 10-2 in one-run games. Oakland 1-13 in games decided by a single run. And Castro's down on strikes to end it. Oakland snaps the losing streak at 4 and the Houston winning streak at 5. And the one-run trend is reversed as the A's take this one by 1. Final score, Oakland 2, Houston 1.